Rhea Ripley turns on Dominik Mysterio. Huge questions from WWE King and Queen of the Ring that must be addressed. Triple H called out in AEW immediately after MJF's return. Unfortunate update on Finn Balor. Dominik Mysterio's injury update. The Rock sets a world record. Unpleasant updated reports on Brock Lesnar. Liv Morgan loses it, and more. Let's dive right in. Huge questions from WWE King and Queen of the Ring that must be addressed. WWE King and Queen of the Ring 2024 was a solid premium live event with one of the strongest cards and crowds of the year. The Jeddah Superdome show had plenty of memorable moments, including a World Championship change and 2 tournament winners earning world title shots at SummerSlam. Monday Night Raw was well represented at the event, with 7 superstars officially booked. The aftermath of King and Queen of the Ring has generated a lot of buzz, with plenty of fallout from the Saudi spectacle to be addressed. The Red brand, as always, will have the first opportunity to do this, attempting to answer fan questions regarding the events from the show. Let's look at 4 of the biggest questions that should be answered by WWE Raw coming out of King and Queen of the Ring 2024. Number 1. Is Becky Lynch temporarily or permanently leaving WWE? Becky Lynch lost the Women's World Championship to Liv Morgan in the opening match at WWE King and Queen of the Ring. Later in the show, the man demanded an instant activation of her rematch clause, promising to speak to Adam Pearce to set it up for Raw. The timing of the potential rematch raised eyebrows amongst the audience, especially given the talk surrounding her contract situation. Lynch's current contract with the TKO-owned promotion is reported to be expiring in the next few weeks, so crossing over to AEW is not impossible. Even if the 8-time champion is recommitting to her current place of employment, she was rumored to be taking a vacation before stepping in as champion when Rhea Ripley got injured. Will Becky Lynch be written off permanently or for a few months during her rematch? Will the company reveal that she has renewed her contract? Could a swerve be on the books, seeing her shockingly regain the title? Raw may have answers. Number 2. What's next for the WWE Raw stars who didn't feature at King and Queen of the Ring? While King and Queen of the Ring featured many WWE Raw stars, many more were not in Jeddah. Braun Breaker, Ilya Dragunov, Damian Priest, and Drew McIntyre were left off the card for a variety of reasons. Now that the event is done, what will the creative team have for them? How will Adam Pearce make it up to Breaker for leaving him out of the KOTR tournament? How will the build for Clash at the Castle kick off? What matches besides McIntyre versus Priest will be added to the Scotland event? What's next for the likes of Awesome Truth, Damage CTRL, and the rest of the roster? What about NXT call-ups from the draft yet to appear on the Red brand? It will be interesting to see how Raw kicks on from Saturday's event. Number 3. What's next for the WWE Raw stars who did feature in Jeddah? While many were left off the card, the Raw superstars who did feature at King and Queen of the Ring had an eventful night with mixed fortunes. Gunther and Liv Morgan were big winners, but Lyra Valkyria fell short, just like fellow Irishwoman Becky Lynch. Chad Gable and Bronson Reed suffered similar failure against Sami Zayn, while Otis and Dominik Mysterio will have some explaining to do. Will Morgan give Lynch her rematch? What will the ring general do as he waits for his SummerSlam title shot? What's next for Valkyria after a barnstorming introduction to the main roster? Will Otis and the rest of Alpha Academy finally step out from Gable's oppressive thumb? What consequences will Dirty Dom face for accidentally helping Morgan win? Was it really accidental? The Red brand might have some shocking answers to these queries. Number 4. Is CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre happening later than the WWE Universe anticipated? Since CM Punk got injured at the 2024 Royal Rumble, he and Drew McIntyre have been engrossed in one of the most personal and compelling feuds in all of WWE. McIntyre cost Punk his WrestleMania dream, and then the voice of the voiceless cost him a world title at the Show of Shows. Post-Mania, the words have continued to fly, and there seems no end in sight to their animosity. With both men approaching the end of their injury layoffs, many observers initially assumed the Scottish Warrior would dethrone Damian Priest at Clash at the Castle and face the Second City Saint at SummerSlam. However, McIntyre is confirmed to be challenging Priest in Scotland, while King of the Ring Gunther awaits the winner at the biggest party of the summer. This raises some questions. Is McIntyre not winning the world title in his home country? Will Punk cost him the match against the Judgment Day's punishment? Will he dethrone Priest and instead be cost by his bitter rival in Cleveland, leading to a post-SummerSlam rivalry? Raw may have some indication as to whether the hottest feud arguably in WWE has been pushed back from the initially speculated timelines. Triple H called out in AEW immediately after MJF's return. Triple H was referenced by MJF during tonight's AEW Double or Nothing event in a major way. Triple H is a key figure in the wrestling world, not only for his career between the ropes, but for also what he's done outside it. As the creative head of WWE, he wields considerable influence. MJF has been away from wrestling for a while, last dropping his title on December 30th. Since then, he has been away, and there has been speculation about whether he was going to WWE. He put all those rumors to rest with his return tonight at AEW Double or Nothing. Triple H done a lot in the ring though, and one of the biggest moments of his career came back in 2002. The star had been away from the ring for 8 months thanks to a torn quadriceps. He was wearing denim, and the Madison Square Garden crowd gave him what would be one of the biggest pops in the history of wrestling. It's still considered one of the best returns of all time. When returning, MJF wore a stunningly similar jacket, paying tribute to the one Triple H had worn all those years ago. The moment was clear, he was respecting the game. Fans spotted it immediately, and even Sam Roberts tweeted it out. On top of that, he also put any rumors about him going to WWE to rest. The star revealed a tattoo of AEW on the back of his leg and said that he was going nowhere and that he was going to stay in the company. For years now, there have been rumors about MJF going to WWE at some point. Triple H appeared on the Pat McAfee show with Michael Cole in the lead-up to WrestleMania. He talked about talent scouting and said that he was always hearing from different wrestlers from different places. The live audience at the show then started to chant at him to sign MJF. Pat McAfee indirectly asked him about MJF, but the game didn't name him. Instead, he said that charisma was the most important part of everything in wrestling. Unfortunate update on Finn Balor. There has been an unfortunate update regarding WWE superstar Finn Balor ahead of tomorrow night's edition of Raw. The veteran was not in action last night at WWE King and Queen of the Ring PLE in Saudi Arabia. The inaugural Universal Champion recently re-signed with WWE. Balor defeated the Visionary to win the Universal Championship at SummerSlam 2016. However, Member failed to defeat Seth Rollins on multiple attempts for the World Heavyweight Championship. As pointed out by WrestleTalk, Finn Balor has been replaced on the Superstars banner on WWE's official website today by the Bloodline's Solo Sikoa. Finn Balor and JD McDonough of the Judgment Day battled Awesome Truth for the World Tag Team Championship on this past Monday's edition of Raw, but came up short. The Miz and R-Truth captured the tag team title at WrestleMania XL in a six-pack ladder match. Former WWE writer and wrestling legend Vince Russo has predicted that Finn Balor will win this year's Money in the Bank contract. The Judgment Day's Damian Priest won the Money in the Bank ladder match last July and took his time to cash in his contract. The Archer of Infamy finally seized his moment at WrestleMania XL, minutes after Drew McIntyre defeated Seth Rollins to become World Heavyweight Champion. The Scottish Warrior was busy mocking CM Punk after his title win at the Show of Shows, and the former AEW champion had seen enough and bashed McIntyre over the head with his arm brace. Priest used this moment to cash in and win the World Heavyweight Championship, and will be defending the title against McIntyre at Clash at the Castle, Scotland, next month. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's Writing with Russo show, the veteran predicted Balor would win Money in the Bank this year and go after Priest's title. I know who they are going to put over. I think they are going to put Finn Balor over. Finn Balor, Damian Priest, there you go. You got it. There you go, bro. Finn Balor joined the company in 2014 and has accomplished a lot during his decade with the promotion. It will be interesting to see what the promotion has planned for the 42-year-old moving forward on Raw. Unpleasant updated reports on Brock Lesnar. A new report has shed light on Brock Lesnar's potential future amid his absence from WWE. There is seemingly no talk of Lesnar returning anytime soon. The Beast Incarnate has been away from the Stamford-based promotion since SummerSlam 2023, where he lost to Cody Rhodes. Lesnar's future was put into question after he was alluded to as a former WWE and UFC champion in the lawsuit filed against former CEO Vince McMahon by Janelle Grant, which became a major topic of debate. Fans were surprised after Lesnar's name was mentioned by broadcaster Michael Cole during the recently concluded King and Queen of the Ring Premium Live event. This led to speculation about the former WWE champion's potential to return to the company down the line. Per the latest update by Ringside News, there have been no discussions within the company to bring back the Beast Incarnate. It remains to be seen how things develop in the coming months. Will Brock Lesnar being mentioned on TV become a regular occurrence? Only time will tell. Gunther recently expressed his desire to have a massive showdown with Brock Lesnar, whom he famously confronted during the 2023 Men's Royal Rumble match. The ring general dubbed Lesnar as his final boss and said the only way for him to reach the latter's level would be by beating him in a match. Of course, I heard something about it. I always saw Brock as my final boss. I always get portrayed as that, as the NXT UK champion, the Intercontinental champion. I was like the final boss of that division. And Brock, for a long time, was the final boss of the whole company. So, I always saw myself in my future to be in a similar position to him, and to be that you've got to get in the ring with that guy, he said. Gunther won the 2024 King of the Ring tournament after controversially defeating Randy Orton, earning a world title shot at SummerSlam in the process. The Rock sets a world record. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson recently set a world record. He then reacted to it and posted a message on social media. The Rock is arguably one of the most recognizable stars on the planet. He first made a name for himself in WWE, but quickly transitioned to Hollywood, where he has acted in several high-profile movies like Fast and Furious and Black Adam. The Great One is also a successful businessman who owns a tequila business and has his own production house. It looks like he has added one more milestone to his cap. The former WWE champion recently set the record for the most followed actor on TikTok and the most followed American man in the world. After setting this record, he took to Instagram to send a heartfelt message to the fans. He wrote, "Cool stuff setting a Guinness World Records. Most followed actor on a TikTok, most followed American man in the world. Not too bad for a pimply-faced kid with an afro who grew up to become famous only for wearing a fanny pack and raising an eyebrow. I'm always asked, what's the key to having real power plus influence in social media?" He continued, "Speak directly and shoot from the hip. Be real and be authentic. Be kind and be good to people. Share the lessons you've learned, good and bad. Laugh at yourself. Don't get pulled into negative sludge and never contribute to toxicity. Laugh at yourself some more. And always remember, the golden rule. It's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. DJ Pao and drink tequila." Prior to WrestleMania XL, it was announced that the final boss was added to TKO's board of directors. Since then, he has clearly stated on WWE television that he would abuse his power to put Seth Rollins in his place. Since the news broke about the Great One's new role, many fans have questioned who wielded more power in the Stamford-based promotion, the Great One or Triple H. Speaking on his The Wrestling Mat Show, Matt Camp said that the final boss had more power in the company. Who has more power in WWE? The Rock or Paul? The Rock. The Rock. Absolutely The Rock, he said. The Brahma Bull was last seen on the Raw after WrestleMania 40, where he stated he was going away for a while but promised to be back for Cody Rhodes. Dominik Mysterio's injury update. WWE superstar Dominik Mysterio recently spoke about his injury and the road to recovery. Dirty Dom is one of the company's most despised heels and is part of the Judgment Day faction on Raw. The star suffered a freak accident on the April 15th edition of Monday Night Raw during his match against Andrade. Dom was the second member of the faction to be sidelined with an injury after Rhea Ripley had to take time off courtesy of Liv Morgan. During a recent interview with Comic Book Nation, Dom mentioned that he's much better than before. He claimed it was a slight tear and luckily he didn't need surgery. The star regularly did rehab and claimed he would be in action in a couple of weeks. It's doing a lot better, man. I had a slight tear in my Tommy John ligament. No surgery, just 6-8 weeks of rehab. Been doing the rehab 2 times a week now. So hopefully I can be back out there in the next couple of weeks. Liv Morgan loses it. Liv Morgan's revenge tour hit an important milestone this weekend as she won the Women's World Championship. The 29-year-old WWE star defeated Becky Lynch at King and Queen of the Ring to win the coveted title. During a recent interview, she fired shots at Rhea Ripley. Morgan has been on her revenge tour ever since she returned in January at the Royal Rumble. The star came agonizingly close to winning the gold on several occasions, but came up short every single time. However, all of that changed at King and Queen of the Ring when she took out the Man for the win. The match did have its fair share of controversy, as Dirty Dominik Mysterio, who was at ringside, introduced a steel chair that Liv used to DDT Lynch. During an exclusive backstage interview, Liv spoke about how this was a moment of redemption for her after returning from an injury. The star claimed she finally had her revenge on Rhea Ripley. Morgan also mentioned that this win was just the start of the revenge tour, and there was more to come. "I waited 8 long months for this moment, to get revenge, to get redemption, to show Rhea Ripley why she made the biggest mistake of her entire life. I did what nobody said I could do. I finally beat Becky Lynch, and I got my revenge on Rhea Ripley and became new Women's World Champion. But you know what? I have a feeling that the Liv Morgan revenge tour is just getting started. If you don't like it, you can cry about it. But if I were you, I'd watch me." It was a momentous occasion for Liv Morgan as she won the Women's World Championship. After the win, WWE Chief Content Officer Triple H took to X on Twitter to congratulate the star. He shared a picture with Morgan and claimed she was right when she asked the WWE Universe to watch her. With this win, Liv becomes a two-time women's champion. However, fans will wonder if she could have done it without Dominik Mysterio interfering in the match. It will be interesting to see how the 27-year-old Rhea responds to this when she returns to the flagship show. Rhea Ripley turns on Dominik Mysterio. Rhea Ripley has reacted to a hilarious jibe taken at none other than Dominik Mysterio, her on-screen partner on WWE TV. The Nightmare liked an artwork based on her recent picture with AEW star Buddy Matthews that went viral. Ripley and Matthews are engaged in real life. In a recent post, Matthews was seen lying on Ripley's back. The picture went viral in no time, and an artist ended up making a hilarious artwork based on the same. The artwork shows Dominik in a sad state while staring at Rhea and Buddy's romantic photo. Rhea Ripley noticed the artwork and liked it as well. Liv Morgan was responsible for putting the Eradicator out of action in a backstage attack. The former Women's World Champion was forced to vacate her title due to an injury that she suffered during the attack. At WWE King and Queen of the Ring in Saudi Arabia, Liv Morgan took on Becky Lynch for the Women's World title. The man had won the belt after surviving a battle royal contested shortly after Mommy vacated the championship. The final moments of the bout saw Dominik interfering and inadvertently costing Lynch the match, in what looked like a blunder on his part. Dirty Dom looked regretful after Liv won the match and the title. Dominik Mysterio tried to pass Becky Lynch a chair during the match, but Liv Morgan took advantage and planted Lynch on the chair with the Oblivion. Ripley is bound to return to WWE TV somewhere down the line. She is hell-bent on taking revenge on Morgan for what she did to her backstage on Raw. In addition to confronting Morgan, Ripley will quite possibly have a word with Dominik and ask him to explain his actions at King and Queen of the Ring.